Hello everyone, this is Madhuri again, a colleague of Gaurav who posts a lot of video, and he asked me to do this one to make you understand the different departments in regulatory affairs. So the purpose of this video is to help students understand that what type of job in regulatory affairs we want to apply, what experience, what work we want to do, whether we want to go into regulatory affairs clinical. So I will click on the next slide, which says first department is regulatory clinical. So what you do in this regulatory clinical is you work closely with the clinical team to monitor clinical trials, to do clinical submissions, which are like protocol writing. You play a role that how those meets regulatory guidelines. You work if there is a change in a protocol, if there is a change in investigator, work closely to submit those submissions to FDA and any other Europe or rest of the world agencies. Then in the regulatory CMC, you need to have experience of the bioanalytics, QC, QA, and you work closely with the QA, QC, PD, AD department of the company to prepare submissions of the module 2 and module 3. As you know, they are lengthy CMC modules. You work closely with them to work on any change controls that are critical and needs filing. So you work closely with those type of submissions and QA team, and you are more related with the processes that goes in the lab and manufacture of the drug and change controls and in deviations and all that stuff. Then regulatory submissions and publishing. So this is you work to publish the data. That means the filing, the submission is already prepared by the regulatory core CMC and clinical teams, and then they give the documents to you and you prepare the ECTD and publish them and submit them. So that is a non-technical field. You are in regulatory, but you're just doing the ECTD linkage and publishing. You're not involved with the regulatory CMC, clinical, and all those type of writing and preparing and strategizing those submissions. Then in the companies you have regulatory labeling, which is again a very big department, because when you go to Europe there are 28 countries and every countries have their own specific labeling requirements. So you work closely with the supply chain in this department to come up to, you have to provide them the regulatory requirements to market or to, and even if it's a clinical trial going on, the labels on the vials, if it's an IV, or label on the drug or outer packaging needs to be that country requirements, which you call artwork, and it needs to be in those requirements. You work closely with the QA and supply chain to meet those requirements. Then one is the regulatory strategy department. So in bigger companies or in smaller companies, you need those strategy to which country to go first, where we can get the approval quicker. Is it based on endpoints, where we can use the surrogate endpoints to have a market application in the market quicker, and where we need the full authorization. So this is you strategize. We need to go this country first, then filing that country. What are the clinical trial endpoints which give me, which will take me to BLA. So you are kind of working closely with the QA and all the other departments, clinical QA heads, and you strategize those things and you bring that to the team so that we know that we are going first. We are submitting first submission to Canada, then to US, and then we go to EU. That's all strategy. And then some companies have regulatory involved in advertising as well, in advertising and promotions. So I don't have much idea on advertising, but all I can say is when you prepare posters and websites, they just want regulatory to review that something is not out of the scope. I hope you find this video helpful to know where you want to work and what experience do you have. Thank you.